YouTube comments from a video titled, Your Monthly Dose of Good News March. Part 2.
Ed Affleck wrote,
Animal rights is amazing. EU deals are gonna help a lot of economies so much. The marine protection outside borders is great. Renewables taking the lead is awesome. Cancer getting treated is just. I am speechless in a good way, of course. TBH, it's been the biggest pain health-wise, and I am really happy there's massive progress in medicine. Glad the world is advancing, even when things are going to crap. Many thanks, Frank.
Ikeda Forever wrote,
I wish there was a map like you have in these videos, with latest good news from each country union, and visuals like the agreements between union states countries. Would be so cool to look at and bring us smiles.
At Genuine3852 wrote,
This channel is among the few channels that give me hope these days, and I would like to thank you for all you do. Keep up the good news work. Most people know what tariffs are, but unfortunately thanks to Trump the word may be in conversation more often now, but he is pushing the lie that the foreign country pays them, not the country that implements them, so next time maybe it wouldn't hurt to clarify that.
Tata_era wrote,
I wish Russia, the country where I'm from, had some good news too. Ever since I learned English and made it the primary language of my media, I only hear about how terrible and awful the country I'm so proud of is. Don't get me wrong, I'm fed up with Russian propaganda as well. I just wish to see something good happening in my mother nation too.
Camildebert wrote,
The Mercosur and Indian contracts signed by Europe are not good news. They only mean that, among other things, foreigner meat will be sold at a cheaper price than the local ones when, in France for example, our farmers commit suicide from their horrible living conditions and their incapacity to compete with foreigners' products. It's also a guarantee that we will be fed animals that have been more abused than the ones raised on the French territory under French laws. But Europe doesn't give a shit about their citizens or animal rights. They only care about their image in TH world. I'm sorry, but this is the least respectful decision they could take, not to mention the least ecological. This needs to be boycotted.
At RestinPesto27 wrote,
I'm not the biggest supporter of this trade deal between EU and Latin America. I stand with EU farmers and would rather eat what they grow under strict rules than South American produce. Everything else is fine by me, but food, no.
At Barosh Hellcream wrote,
Love the bundle of good news. Keep up the good work. However, I am not sure if including political economical things like Mercosur and getting rid of tariffs is a good thing. It's not an easy topic, and telling if it's good or bad depends on which side of the deal you are on. Things like cancer survivability are for E.G. ultimately good, and there is no doubt about it.
At Foxy_Durkina wrote,
It's so stupid that lung cancer isn't being researched more, just because people believe it's mainly associated with smoking. The biggest reason for lung cancer is polluted air. Smog and other toxins in the air coming from the industrial production and the products of those productions, like cars, trucks, and tractors. Eat it. Lung cancer isn't down because people stopped smoking. It's down because less fuel cars are on the roads. It's due to electrical cars replacing toxic cars. Wake up, people.
At Wingless Moonstone wrote,
So many of these stories are really good. The gun laws in Australia, the black rhinos not being poached, the international waters protecting marine life, each of those are such great, positive things for me to hear.
At Sarah Black 4708 wrote,
All of that is great news, except for the gun restrictions in Australia. Taking guns from people doesn't make them safer because these laws do not take them away from criminals. Gun laws actually make people less safe.
At Liebowinzens 2880 wrote,
I like the news on the environment and renewable energy, but I wish you wouldn't get political. Goodness knows we get enough of that in the regular news and we are sick of it.
Tantha Tank wrote,
I wish I could hear good news about America every day to help just make it feel less of a grease fire. I appreciate these videos and I'm not saying more America. I just mean overall good news.
At Hans Schukrut 88 wrote,
Stricter gun laws are not good news. As a Brazilian, the government disrespected the plebiscite that most of the population voted against gun control, crime shot up, and criminals now have assault rifles and even machine guns. We have more gun deaths than the EU, Australia, and the USA combined if one of the strictest gun controls in the world. The problem is not guns but the people who hold it, the judicial system being maternalistic towards criminals, lack of will from the political system to declare war on crime, etc.
At Backwards John's Creations wrote,
Cancer is not losing. It's skyrocketing. And even if a new treatment gets found, a big pharma company will buy the new little company and its patents, and the world will never hear from the treatment again. It's about keeping them poor and ill. That generates money and control, which is all they ever wanted.
At Eduardo Marquez 91 wrote,
Good things happening in the world economy. EU makes agreements. Sounds a bit Eurocentric. Why is it better for the world than, say, the BRICS growing? About the stingless bees, there's a lot of species of them here in Brazil. They produce rare varieties of honey that aren't commercially viable, so hard to find.
At Green Monday 2704 wrote,
Are you really so stupid as to think that because Trump likes tariffs, they must be bad? Free trade agreements benefit the corporate owners, not the workers. Free trade, usually not free for the less powerful countries, has destroyed manufacturing in the Western world and undermined workers' rights and conditions.
At Posterous 4413 wrote,
Really glad to hear about increased cancer survivor rate. I lost my dad to esophageal cancer in 2024. Had most of his stomach removed a couple of years before that. It had eventually spread to his heart, and then brain, which the brain part is what got him. The one thing he was happy about was that he got to keep his hair, since they used pinpoint radiation instead of just blasting him with radiation in a wide area. Chemo sucked for him though. He probably would have lived to 100 at least, since he was perfectly healthy otherwise. Hell, he lasted 2 whole weeks after his end-of-life rally started, and people usually only last a couple of hours to a couple of days after it starts. Though by the time he passed, he was forgetting everyone's name, including mine, but he didn't forget my face. I miss him every day, and I hope less and less people go though that as time goes on.
At Wolverine wrote,
Hey, I really appreciate the videos. Been watching you for a moment, and it really makes the day just a bit better. Also, you messed up your timestamps in the description law.
At Aditya 9699 wrote,
Why is first world countries obsessed with poor and developing countries using clean energy? Those countries need coal and petroleum, which are of low cost, and need them.
A7 Bomari wrote,
The protest of farmers are not just about lower prices, but more about lower standards. European farmers must follow a lot of rules concerning safety, ecology, environment, and animal welfare. that usually don't apply to North and South American and, for example, Ukrainian farmers. No wonder their agricultural products are cheaper.
Catharandify wrote,
Hiya, Freddy. Yes, of course, I'm a Planet Wild supporter. And gosh, you really have taken on some detailed stories. More and more it's current affairs / educational here. Very, very well presented indeed. Excellent work.
Etojifa Shigoro was taken wrote,
In a way, the orange guy in America is doing great. He's accelerating renewable energy adoption, decreasing fossil fuel dependence, diversification of markets, uniting countries, getting trade deals / FTAs, making American companies open up shops in other parts of the world and teaching everyone else the true meaning of democracy. America could go bankrupt, but things seem great for the rest of the world.
At Riga 5950 wrote,
It seems like there should be a social media campaign bolstered by actual scientific research into some of these fake Chinese remedies that rich people are slaughtering animals for. Debunk them and spread it widely globally so people are too ashamed to buy the thing because they will look like fools for wasting money just for a status symbol that could be represented by something more functional.
Eder Marinin wrote,
Concerning Mercosur deal, farmers have legit reasons to be afraid for their sources of income. The cheaper food from massive, industrialized farms in SA would cripple their bargaining power of purchasing of farm products by warehouses and supermarkets now that they have cheap alternatives. The consumers should also be worried. In EU there are strict quality and health / safety standards and inspections regarding means of food productions. Very legit ones, mind you, but it will be much harder to catch and block imports from SA that do not have such restrictions, nor structural quality safe checks. It is also a reason for lower prices of imported food. Ensuring quality and safety of produce is expensive and it forces farmers to raise prices that would not be competitive now.
Ed Ancaris wrote,
I just wanted to say thank you for the animated visual explaining the EU and South America trade deal. It made it a lot easier to understand the journey and roadblocks.
At Drebeteschuler 3235 wrote,
While all the stories are encouraging, I found the one on cancer the most interesting. I'm a 33-year survivor of active, metastatic breast cancer. I've had it in 7 sites over the years, and I am thrilled that the new medications available are working so well. In 2019, the cancer spread to my right lung and chest lymph nodes. While it has presented challenges, I'm still here and doing pretty well considering all my other health issues, some of them caused by 33 years of toxic treatments. But today's treatments are generally targeted and far less destructive to the body. That is part of the reason why people are surviving longer and have a far better quality of life.
Crimson Cat YT wrote,
Giving human rights to animals would be a complete disaster. Imagine accidentally stepping on an ant or running over a deer that jumped in front of your car and now you're being charged for manslaughter. Not to mention making eating meat, which is needed for humans to remain healthy without unnatural supplements, due to us being omnivores, illegal since it requires the killing of animals to produce food. We are humans. We are at the very top of the food chain not because of our strength or biological advantage, but because of our intelligence and communal strength. We were able to dominate all other species on the planet and create one of the most sophisticated cultures in the galaxy. To our knowledge, we are naturally superior to all other species on this planet, and thus we possess privileges, human rights, that lesser animals do not. Of course, we should still treat animals fairly and humanely. We should not kill animals without reason, and we should respect nature not destroy it for our own short-term benefit. We are the stewards of this planet after all. But giving animals the same rights as humans is utter insanity. They are inherently inferior. That is just a fact of existence. That doesn't mean we should just mindlessly slaughter them, but that doesn't mean we should give them the same rights as humans and treat them exactly the same as humans. A dog can't hold a job, drive a car, use a toilet, read, write, learn and speak human languages, understand math or history or science, etc. They are driven solely by instinct and simple emotion. Their sole purpose is to eat, sleep, and reproduce. Humans are driven by more than simple survival instinct. We have passions, desires, culture, society. Thus we are superior, and thus a dog or any other animal shouldn't have the same rights as humans. We should still be kind to them, but not treat them as our equal.
M. Schmoopy wrote,
I'm American, not an orange fan. To put it lightly. So selfishly, the trade deals make me nervous for my future in terms of investments and ability to retire. However, it is great news for 1/3 of the world. My favorite is the explosion of renewable energy. I assumed it would happen once renewables became the obvious choice economically. I was really surprised about the Netherlands, though. Solar tech has gotten so impressive.
@_Aulic wrote,
Trade deals are good in general, but also need care. If there are strong environmental regulations for one partner but not the other, then there can be no fair trade.
@Stiller_Sturm_Rune wrote,
You could start making multiple voice lines so people who don't understand English can watch the videos as well. For example, my grandmother only speaks German and don't understand English, but she would love to watch videos like that.
@Nerody Fogger wrote,
Animals, animals. Take a shot every time he mentions animals. I'm a Homo sapiens. Those things don't affect me. For who are you making these videos? For the rhinos? Nah.
@Manarax9860 wrote,
Mercosur is the worst thing for Europe. The foods in South America are full of pesticides that have been banned in Europe for years now. These pesticides got banned BC. They are very dangerous for the human health and the soil health, which these pesticides, some of them, were found to cause teratogenesis and even cancer.
@GageVane87 wrote,
You'd better keep us updated about Mercosur. What guarantee did the EU farmers get about their fears of cheaper products after those 20+ years of stalling? And what about the easier loophole ever? We can export chemicals to South America. They can use them in agriculture because their regulations aren't the same as in the EU. And sell fruits and veggies back to the EU that may contain these chemicals? 'Cause, that was the fear from THE start, and nothing has alleviated that fear. We don't care that our exports grow if it means we're buying back cheap and polluted produce while putting our farmers in danger. Cause let's face it, our European supermarket CEOs only want more money. They don't GAF if they buy poison.
@Campaigner82 wrote,
The deal between South America and Europe depends on if Mercosur have as good eat as we in Europe do. Europe. India deal will be really bad if Indians can get to Europe.
@LikeThatPony3603 wrote,
The video have a lot of great news, but Mercosur is not one of them. It will kill the agriculture in Europe because goods and meat from South America are much cheaper but comes with a lot more harmful chemicals in them.
At Alexiter 7089 wrote,
I know all this news gives hope, but you cannot forget the ever-growing authoritarianism in the USA. You also cannot forget that we must and can fight it.
At Ellis Rinstrom SP1 Do wrote,
Although it is easy to look at people and consider them villainous, no one is 100% evil. There are good in us all. It is just the process of finding it that can be a challenge. Elias Rinstrom.
At Raska the Furry wrote,
Why are farmers worried? They will still have money. They are the most heavily subsidized field in the EU. Also, why just background checks for guns? There should be literal tests on gun safety as well as psychiatric evaluation. And this evaluation should be renewed every 5 years or when people use mind-altering drugs.
At Hot 4KM wrote,
Free trade is tricky because the rich, greedy corporations will put profits over people every time. Trump's tariffs have finally been declared illegal, but the rest of the world still needs options. As an American, the more Trump's plans backfire they all do, eventually, the better off everyone is.
At Katrina Tam 2714 wrote,
Hi, Freddie. Thanks for another awesome video. Love these videos. They are so needed right now. My favorite story was about solar and wind overtaking coal for the first time.
At Mike Rock 8177 wrote,
European countries will now fall because the rich got their way. It won't be a benefit to your country, just like it wasn't a benefit to America. So stupid.
At Renaissance Pirate wrote,
301. Why do you show maps that compromise India territorial integrity? You talk about good news, but are more concerned about supporting propaganda and heinous crime committed by countries with dictatorial and authoritarian governments.
At Dominic Barisano wrote,
I like the story about the animals and the increase of renewable energy. Any good news about wildlife, nature, and the environment are the most important to me.
At Chuckacoy 6464 wrote,
I distaste the corrupt orange that is pretending to be president and is awful. Many of us Americans did not want this, but nonetheless, we apologize for the damage that we are causing. I'm sorry, but we are trying to fight and contribute good to the world.
At Fuminex wrote,
Gun reform, i.e. a good thing? Taking away people's right to bear arms when it was done by terrorists. The issue is Australia let those terrorists get in, and now the average Australian will have to lose something that they had the right to just because criminals who didn't obey the law plus followed extremist beliefs did a terrible thing.
At Gromwall Official wrote,
This orange guy. You're much too kind in describing that low-life individual. But enough about that cretin. I always look forward to watching your latest episodes. You're a ray of sunshine on an overcast world.
At Chuckacoy 6464 wrote,
I am so happy for all the good news. But the cancer is personal. I am a survivor of acute lymphoblastic leukemia, and I am not strong. I am not brave. The sleepless nights, the fears, the crying, hopelessness, existential dread, depression, and etc. If it weren't for my fiancée and family, I don't think I'd have survived. Hearing the C word at times literally makes me want to just break down and cry. I am 1.5 years in remission. I pray for the world to improve all around, but especially in the battles against cancer. Pook, cancer.
At Lori Dyson 569 wrote,
Thank you for the good news first thing in my morning. This gives me hope in my day while living in a country with the worst president who just started a war.
At MedK001 wrote,
I don't know if the EU-Mercosur thing is good news. How can South American countries become more developed If this deal further cements the no industrialization, export food, and import technological goods model. Good news would be diversifying our economy, not keeping it agriculture-focused. All the criticism I see is because European farmers. But screw SA's economy, I guess?
Anapavline wrote,
EU-Mercosur is a good news on paper only. In Europe, this libertarianism is unfair to local farmers who need to follow much stricter environmental restrictions, rightly so, than their American counterparts, so they have to sell more expensive. Kind of a legal, unfair competition. I wish it was more healthy for everyone.
At History Video Games Miscellaneous Stuff wrote,
And before anyone says how China is building new coal plants, yes, but primarily to replace the older, far less efficient ones. It's not great, but it's at least mitigating somewhat.
At good__news wrote,
Want to restore the planet's ecosystems and see your impact in monthly videos? The first 100 people to join Planet Wild with my code GOOD3 will get the first month for free on me. planetwild.com if you want to get to know them better first. Check out their mission Digging Earth Smiles. planetwild.com sponsored. Thank you all for your support on our videos. Which good news story was your favorite from this episode? I'm personally really excited about the advancements in cancer research and the fact that the EU is making huge trade deals. Short update on the EU-Mercosur trade deal. A few days ago, Paraguay became the final South American country to approve the deal.